There are moments in life that leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. This is one of those moments. It's something that happened to my dad and me. And even now, 2 years later, I still get chills thinking about it. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't believe me. I probably wouldn't believe it either if I hadn't lived it myself. But I swear, every word is true. 2 years ago, my dad and I went on a camping trip deep in the countryside. These trips were kind of a tradition for us, a way to escape the world for a bit. No phones, no distractions, just nature and silence. The place we picked was stunning. It had trails, zip lines, and the kind of charm that draws in tourists. But it also had history, real history. According to the signs, it used to be Native American land. Our first night there was perfect. Families were scattered across other campsites. Campfires flickered in the dusk. Kids laughed nearby, exactly the kind of peaceful, wholesome night you'd want from a camping trip. We grilled hot dogs, roasted marshmallows, shared a few beers, and chatted with the neighboring campers. It was everything you'd hope for on night one. But things changed the next night. The staff mentioned that no one else had booked a spot. We were the only ones in the park. At first, we were thrilled. The entire campground to ourselves. It sounded amazing. Peace, quiet, and total solitude. We spent the day hiking, relaxing by the water, and even listened to a creepy podcast by the river just to lean into the spooky mood. It felt like harmless fun. By the time the sun began to set, we were feeling that satisfying kind of tired you only get after a day outside. A little buzzed, a little sunburnt, and ready to wind down. We stopped by the info center to top off our phone batteries and grab some snacks, then started walking back to camp. That's when something shifted. The woods felt wrong. The air was thicker. The sky had this strange, murky tint, like twilight was stretching longer than it should. My dad looked at me and said, "Doesn't this feel weird, like we're walking through a dream?" And he was right. It did feel like that. The forest seemed to go on forever, in every direction. I felt a knot forming in my chest, like something invisible was watching us. We didn't talk after that. We just walked. Quiet. Both of us kept glancing behind us, like we were expecting something to appear between the trees. Back at our campsite, we stayed close to the fire. Neither of us said a word about the uneasy feeling. We didn't have to. It was like we silently agreed to ignore it, hoping it would go away. We roasted some more marshmallows, played music, even smoked a little, trying to shake off the creeping tension. Not exactly the image of a classic father-son bonding moment, I know, but it worked at least for a little while. Once the sun dipped below the trees, the darkness closed in hard. The only thing we could see was the fire. That's when the dread hit full force. I'd guess it was around 9 p.m. We were sitting close to the flames, chatting quietly, when we heard a sound, a deep, sharp crack, like a tree falling, loud and close. It echoed from the direction of the river, maybe 100 yards away. We grabbed our flashlights and pointed them toward the noise, but the beam barely cut through the woods. We saw nothing, no movement, no glowing eyes, just darkness. We joked, nervously, maybe it's Bigfoot. Neither of us laughed for real. A few minutes passed. Then it came again. Another crash. This time it was farther away, but still powerful. The same exact sound. We swept the area again with our lights, still nothing. The forest swallowed everything. And then, a third bang. Closer. That's when fear really started to set in. Whatever it was moving toward us, circling the camp. Before we could even react properly, a fourth crash erupted maybe 20 yards away, if that. So loud it felt like the ground shook beneath us. Any trace of the high I had from earlier was gone. My dad and I locked eyes, both of us pale, fully alert. We didn't say a word. We just moved. We threw what little firewood we had left onto the flames, hoping a bigger fire would scare off whatever was out there. Then we dove into the tent, leaving everything else behind. I hit the ground and flattened myself, heart pounding. My dad came in a second later, a little slower, and just as he was about to zip the tent shut, another explosion of sound, the loudest one yet, right outside. My dad froze, staring out into the pitch black. I called his name, trying to snap him out of it. He turned slowly and crawled into the tent. His voice trembled. "It's standing there." I asked, "What is?" He whispered, "I don't know." It looked like a wall of darkness. He sat near the zipper, clutching the only weapon we had, a small utility knife, practically useless, but it was all we had. Then came something stranger. A low vibration, like a hum. But it wasn't just a sound. We could feel it. It pressed into our chests. It filled the air around us. The kind of noise that makes your bones ache, even though you can't explain why. My dad asked in a whisper, "Do you hear that?" I couldn't even speak. I just nodded, trying to stay as still as possible. It felt like something was stalking us, waiting for us to make a mistake. We sat there in silence for maybe 5 minutes. Then another sound. It wasn't an animal, and it definitely wasn't human. It was this deep, wet, alien growl, like something out of a science fiction nightmare. It honestly reminded me of that creature sound from Stranger Things, the Demogorgon. I'd never heard anything like it before, or since. We didn't move, didn't breathe. I had a mesh window near where I was lying, and despite every instinct telling me not to, I looked out. That's when I saw it. A pale, emaciated figure, not walking, but gliding straight toward our tent. Its limbs were too long. Its face stretched into something both blank and horrific. Eyes like black pits locked onto mine through the mesh. My body refused to move. I couldn't scream. And then everything went black. Not the forest. Us. It was like someone flipped a switch inside our minds. We didn't fall asleep. We lost consciousness. Just like that. When we came to, we were lying side by side in the center of the tent. My dad still clutched the knife. My heart was hammering. I scrambled for my phone. Dead. I asked my dad to check his. Also dead. Both had been fully charged the night before. They should have lasted all weekend. Still shaking, we stepped out to pee, standing back to back in the dark, only a few feet from the tent. Every rustle in the trees made us flinch. The air was bitter cold, still, silent. The food we left on the table, untouched. The firewood, nothing left but cold ash, like the night had erased all traces of life. The forest felt off, like we weren't supposed to be there. We crawled back into the tent, hearts pounding, and sat in silence, too shaken to sleep. The night dragged on, each rustle outside spiking our nerves. We stayed awake till dawn, eyes fixed on the tent zipper, waiting for something to emerge from the darkness. Neither of us spoke, afraid words might summon whatever lurked beyond the thin nylon walls. When morning finally broke, pale light filtering through the trees, we packed up in silence, moving quickly, avoiding each other's eyes. It wasn't until we were back in the car, gravel crunching under the tires, that we broke the quiet. "Did you feel it?" I asked. My friend nodded, gripping the wheel. Watched, hunted, like something was circling, waiting for us to slip. We both admitted it. Whatever was out there had sized us up. Patient, predatory. Back home, I told my mom everything. She laughed it off, saying it was probably a gas leak, or maybe we'd inhaled something strange in the air. But deep down, we know better. What we saw out there, those fleeting, unnatural shapes in the dark, towering and twisted, weren't human. They didn't belong in this world. We searched the internet for stories, local legends, any explanation that might match what we experienced. Nothing came close. That campsite remains untouched, a place we'll never return to. We haven't gone camping since, and I doubt we ever will. The woods don't feel like a place of peace anymore. They feel aware, watching, waiting, alive in a way that makes your skin crawl. And the moral of the story is, in the woods, when you think you're alone, you're not.